Looks like everything is up, so here we go. I wanted to start today, since it's Crowley's birthday. I thought we'd check out the labyrinth a little bit. This is her headquarters. She's so much faster than Neil. But this is the labyrinth. Down there is the first entrance we're introduced to, and then there's another entrance and exit point up here. But yeah. Nobody is entirely sure how large this place is, or where all the corridors go. Apparently the person who constructed it went mad and killed himself immediately afterwards. And it seems to just grow on its own at this point. Nobody knows how large the server farm is. People have disappeared in there. And it always...
Happy hour will commence in T-minus 5 minutes.
It always seems to accommodate whatever rooms are needed. Lots of elevators going to different places. Yeah, this is where we came in at. I think. Maybe not. I don't actually know my way around here. Elevators. What's this one? This is laboratory. It is where we have Dr. Zern. So where the dragon kind of got their sexual start, we got drugged and subjected to the same kind of thing. Got lots of nice things in tubes. There's a head. Just and this is Dr. Zern.
Here comes my next victim. I'm kidding.
All your travel expenses must be submitted in triplicates, no less than 11 days before the end of your journey.
I went through a bunch of acronyms to get where I am today. NIMH, the CIA, the SAD. I was heading the MK Ultra project during the 80s.
Check it out.
This was after it had been publicly shit-canned, obviously. Mind control. Wow, that's a great feel. A lot of potential. The big deal inside the agency at that time was extra human abilities. Less of a zero-sum market than nukes. The Reds, industrious little dudes that they were trying to breed their own super soldiers, you know? In Soviet Russia, science makes you. We took an identify and exploit approach, working with subjects like you, younger where possible, from around the States. A few we borrowed from other nations, and civilian experiments, a whole lot of civilian experiments. We sprayed LSD like it was going out of style. But there was a ceiling, a very tangible ceiling. After we burned through the first 30 million in research grants, oh boy. Accountability, recriminations, constitutional rights, is a real bad scene.
Without a parachute.
Yes, I'm grateful to the Illuminati for really moving things forward. This place is something else, man. Wow! You know, I haven't been outside the labyrinth since 2003. I really should check, see if I still have clearance. But I've been so tied up at the office, running the whole spectrum. New inductions, enhanced interrogations, exit interviews. You might think that it all blurs into one, but the barbiturate doses are very different. That's why I use Post-it notes, you know? And medicinal drugs. It's a completely self-sustaining arcology down here. No one even knows how big it is anymore. Big enough to be a drag on the national grid, man. But it's all purpose-built, though. The architecture mimics, get this, the dimensions of the cave systems used by the Mayans. Gateways to the underworld. Only we get cable down here, too. A lot of cable. Have you ever had an altered state experience under the Yucatan Peninsula? I can simulate the basics for you with an isolation tank. I don't really do much in the way of human interfacing. It's not really my department. I know this because they've been gradually raising the quarantine level of my lab to stop people getting in. You're probably not even allowed to be here, man. But I won't tell. You're safe. Here's the thing. After you view organisms on a macrobiological level for so long, it's like you've read all the spoilers. The exchange of signifiers, establishing the dominant-submissive hierarchy, the pheromonal checks and balances. That's a lot of work to go through for a conversation, am I wrong? There are considerably faster methods to facilitate information transfer. Just ask Kirsten Gary. No, don't. I really don't.
The chief takeaways are that the vision's changed.
I'm only here to do my part in shuffling the illuminated towards a higher mental level. Spiritually scientific level, man. Yes! Although you're fascinating. Long dormant senses reattuning. Sectors of your brain, ancient memory sectors are growing. Wow, man. All thanks to that bee in your bonnet. If we could only just pry that little sucker out and ask it a few questions. Oh, well. Try again.
Remember, the numbers don't
Think
lie.
tank and thought farm are now reconvening.
Which people have tried to take the bee out, and so far it's never worked. No matter what they take apart, they can't seem to find it actually where it's attached.
You got a lot of new, conflicting information about reality to take in, man. I'm almost jealous. Your mind will try to reject it for as long as it can hold out. Well, that's just learned behavior. That's a passing thing, man. Don't worry about it. It's very liberating to feel those old behaviors giving way. Thought connections stretching like chewing gum and then snapping. There's a small risk of triggering some deep-rooted psychosis, but overall, those cases are rare. They're really, really rare, man. Nothing judicious application of ECT can't shake. Humans are so eager to accept rational explanations. When I worked for the agency, we sure massaged that eagerness. Exploited the hell out of it. We pumped a lot of stuff into the water supply, too, man. Woo! A lot of stuff. Oh, but don't worry about it. System while you were unconscious. You're good, dude. Now you can witness terrible things. Things that a month ago, a week ago, might have blown your rational mind. You can do terrible things, too. Although you don't have science and magic to thank for that, man. That's all you, baby. So since before science was science, man has explored many different paths to enabling the full human potential. Medical, natural, occult, yada, 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 yada. All of them operating within set boundaries, or as I like to think of them, speed bumps on the highway to success. Limitations. What we should or shouldn't do, how far is too far. Oh, wow. Talk about losing sight of the end goal, man. That's what makes this organization so appealing. That Illuminati are big enablers. The New World Order isn't about removing freedom. It's about delivering, forcefully delivering man the opportunity to achieve, for us to reascend, to really work that top spot on Darwin's ladder.
It's a total kumbaya.
This is a very exciting time and place to be a scientist. I didn't show any hesitation in accepting their offer. They really didn't need to threaten me at all, man. Great power requiring great responsibility isn't a cautionary tale, man. It's a tragedy. But we're beyond that, man. Way, way beyond that. What can I say, man? Some advanced R&D groups get all the breaks.
You looked tall.
They're a private company, no audits or regulations to waste time on. They cherry-picked a think tank out of the best universities and government agencies and war crime tribunals in the world. All the money that group makes off Saturday morning cartoons and tablet computers, GM foods, daisy cutter bombs, all that goes straight back into tech. And no sense of humor. You think we play hardball? Oh man, let me tell you, we work with Orochi, work around them, work on them, and I've been part of some accelerated encouragement programs, but they do not slip up. They must have a great internal review process, man. Well, until now. Sure, any dimensional dirty bomb you can walk away from is a good one, but now, everyone's gonna be looking at the Orochi Tower and asking, what have they been building in there? Oh, and I, for one, cannot wait to find out. I'm grabbing popcorn for this one, people.
Thank you for that, Doctor.
Remember, you're a very special individual, and you're mutating into something even more special.
Words to live by. And don't know how many people here are actually willing to talk to us. We at least have up here, this is Kirsten Geary's office.
This is a good time for me. I'm multitasking.
And this is Crowley's direct boss.
I was an ordinary valley girl. Major in human resources, daddy in real estate who paved our driveways with his gold cards and shitty cologne. Rest in peace. Until one night in the hills, a couple of guys who were up to no good fucked with the wrong girl. Frat boy necromancers. Ugh, the worst. Especially when they man up from sacrificing neighborhood pets to abducting undergrads. But they didn't check me for mace or duct tape, and the next thing you know, it's all, you can't do this to us, bitch, we're Illuminati. Now, I got to thinking, A, if you're a member of a secret society, you should keep that to yourself. Even under torture. I mean, seriously, cry me a river. And B, only my friends call me bitch. Well, anyway, to cut a long, aggravated assault short, I realized Illuminati clearly needed to work on their employee handbook. Now, I had just graduated, just killed a few guys. I was looking for work placement. It was totally serendipitous. I mostly deal with the new talent, but the Labyrinth is our organization's brain trust. We bring in key opinion formers from across the board. Government agencies, the Senate, law firms, financial markets, mass media. What you're going to find is that individually, they're compromised by being drama queens, or cokeheads, or psychos. But try to appreciate the big picture. They're all part of a vast decision matrix, which you will only be involved in on the trickle-down level. I know that sounds like a submissive sex act, but don't take it personally. We're necessarily big on separation of responsibility. Otherwise, we just lose too much velocity on recriminations. See, back in the day, Illuminati were throwing each other under carriages, slipping rat poison in the absinthe 24/7. Infighting was really cutting into the bottom line. So we had to realign to a corporate model. Now there are due processes and risk management in place, a second-party group to handle terminations. We've turned vendetta into healthy internal competition. Healthy for the winners. The New York tunnels have been around longer than the city. When the Illuminati moved here, we hustled an architect over from Germany to do the sacred geometry of this place. It drove him crazy. He killed himself when the blueprints were finished, but you know how seriously creatives take everything. The design really was future-proof. This is all still the original spaces. We've centralized a lot, except the server farm keeps expanding. It's like a map painting from a 70s sci-fi movie. You can get lost in there. The rest of the maze you should be lucky enough to never see. The old detainment block and medical facility, That's questions and answers now. It's mostly soundproofed. Mostly. And some of the old board members keep suites way out in the wings. They're not big on FaceTime. They have extreme health issues, extreme privacy issues, extreme issues. Do us both a favor and stay in the main concourse.
Hello, Hika. We're spending some time with Crowley in her faction's headquarters.
Good job. We liaised the shit out of that one.
So this is the Labyrinth. You haven't missed too much. We talked to their personal scientist. He's down there in one of those lower levels. And now we're talking to Crowley's boss.
I understand you tested positive for magic powers. I'm not so into that stuff. I'm more of a 44 caliber girl. Just ask my ex-husband. Unless they're cleaning out his respirator tubes. But good for you. You're really going to be drinking from the weirdness fire hose. There's no acclimatization period. You used that up already. In all the time before our recruiter cold called. The world is a super messed up place. And you knew it when you were a kid. Or totally alone, or when you actually thought about it. So you didn't think about it. I'm not even laying an ice burn on you. Check me out. I grew up on the alien planet of California, and I didn't think about the Nevada Triangle, or that cult of Kali and Redondo Beach, the West Coast surfers of the apocalypse, and so on. It was easier that way. And in a very real sense, this is the message Illuminati have been sending to the masses. We think, so they don't have to. We take enlightenment for the team. You had better not be having second thoughts. I am so not the rah-rah girl. Or if you want an Illuminati history lesson, then you need to understand history is adjustable. It blurs big time. When we tell people what to think today, what actually happened back then is no big whoop. All that matters is the future. The future we're building. You're going to see that the Earth is up for inheritance, and the meek are, well, shit out of luck. Only Illuminati have the capital, the network, and the drive for sweet success to really close the deal on this millennium. If you can keep up with the bleeding edge of a future-focused organization, we can use you in our new world order. If it turns out you can't, then there's room in history's grave for one more fossil. And no one will remember you.
I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, that would suck. So work for us, and let us work for you. Because we're the conspiracy that's bringing sexy back. Have you seen the other guys' uniforms? Some Illuminati become emotionally compromised just hearing the name. I'm beyond it now. We're perfect and haters will hate, but I should make it very clear that the Templars started this. Red and blue, we never hit it off. Way before America, that was just sticking a fork in it and twisting. We're about power behind the throne. They want a double throne. We couldn't give a rat's ass what people do, as long as it's what they're told. They're control freaks. The saddest thing is, they haven't changed. If Templars got their way, which they did for a really long and boring stretch of history, we'd still be out tilling the soil. Good, honest work, kept safe from this season's evil by the guys with the biggest swords. I've got nothing against judge, jury, and executioner. I loved RoboCop, it's so funny. But these goons with their fascist style guides and hard-on for Empire have dated so badly. This isn't a rivalry, it's euthanasia. It's our time. Ugh, talk about a non-starter. I don't want you reading any sign of weakness into me saying we've given up on the dragon, but we have basically given up on the dragon. They're the one that got away from the think tank. Anarchy is an analyst's nightmare. These guys are completely non-localized, completely independent. The top-down view is an aftermatch report from a game of Twister. One hand doesn't have any knowledge of the other. One's a rogue salaryman in Japan, the other's a hacker in Iceland or something. If we ever lucked out and busted a whole dragon cell, we got nothing. Not a single value proposition our interrogators could usefully apply. It was putting them in therapy. The interrogators. Totally wasted process. At the end of the day, we had to cut our losses. Admit that sometimes a society of crazy town anarchists is just a society of crazy town anarchists. We're still writing off investments to them every year. It's like a ninja tax. So, when you get the opportunity, inflict some buyback.
Report to corporate outreach.
The Phoenicians are pirates. I know. When I was first briefed, I was all, what? Like Napster? But they're a lot less .com. As an operation, they haven't changed much in 3,000 years. Which goes to show what a growth industry theft and murder really represents. And they work hard to keep themselves at the top of that sector. We've outsourced operations to them before, but don't assume that makes us partners. It's a mercenary thing. A contractual thing. Phoenicians don't take sides. Only Swiss bank transfers. There's a big diplomatic gray area around them, since no one can be seen openly associating with Phoenician agents, even though they're sitting right there on the Council of Venice, comparing tattoos and prison scars. Currently, there's nothing on the table between us, so I really want to encourage negative trust in any encounters. I guarantee you'll meet them soon enough. They have a gift for sniffing out trouble spots. I'll observe and report, and then shanking at the first sign of weakness. Come to think of it, they'd make great paparazzi. If there's one good thing about democratic bodies, it's that they can be rigged. But that's the one good thing. We're responsible adults. We don't need big grandfather checking up on us. In writing. I mean, it's actual letters with wax seals. I'm serious. It's like being door-knocked by Renaissance fair. Venice, the Venusians, whatever, they're a power trip with no power. The peace they think they maintain is a joke. It always has been, and they're the last to get it. Even the Templars hate them. And when the dudes in capes and armor say you're out of touch, you know, ouch. The reality is that the modern world keeps shrinking, and none of the societies are big on sharing. We pay lip service to Venice laws because you shouldn't make fun of the elderly. Also, they just eat up FUD tactics, and then all of a sudden there's an inquisition or a war in Asia. Any government you can bend is a useful government, but usefulness wears out. You can have 2 minutes or 5 minutes.
Thank you, Gary. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 more guys we can talk to in here.
Everything is true, except items listed in the personnel handbook.
The transfer is good.
The automated voice up there is actually the head of the Illuminati, the Pyramidian. It is possibly an AI? We don't know. They like to speak in memes when they aren't doing the announcements.
Cheers. My name is Henry Cicero, and I am your personal voice in the U.S. Senate. You need something to be made law? I am your man. My loyalty to the Illuminati is absolute. Your lawyers made damn sure of that. Now, some might debate my loyalty to the people who voted for me. But democracy is not about serving the interests of every simple-minded Joe Schmo out there who, quite frankly, has no idea what's good for him. No. Democracy is about getting shit done while maintaining the illusion that the people's voices are heard. You guys understand that?
It's doing its best, and we're proud of it.
You know, I really like you guys. And not just because you know how to hold your liquor. You've got this pulling the strings from the shadows act down to an art. There isn't a single decision-making body left in the country where the Illuminati don't have any representatives. And yet nobody knows who you are. If you don't like something, you get someone to change it. If you can't change it, you buy it. And then change it anyway. Kudos, my friends. It's the American way. The secret world and me, we have the most perfect of arrangements. I get all the perks and none of the pain. I'm invited to all the parties. I get to fight my battles on the relative safety of the Senate, and nobody's relying on me to save the world. And let's not kid ourselves. That last bit, it's a good thing for all of us. I don't know how you guys do it. I can only count on the fact that you do.
And I think that's about everybody here. Cassini.
Welcome to my robot empire. Tell you a little about myself? No way. I've data scraped enough matchmaking sites to know where that leads. Anyway, I'm busy tonight. Security review, compiling, benzodiazepines on the rocks. Sure, it's pretty cool down here. You probably wouldn't understand, but out behind the soundproofing and the two-way mirrors and the chemical deterrents in the guts of the labyrinth, I feel like a kid on a sleeping giant, dreaming the traffic of the world. It's not like I'm power tripping. It's mostly running numbers and server calls and, you know, really voyeurism loses its edge after about 20 minutes of your first Illuminati office party. I'm about challenging myself with solutions for data management, and in this place I get to manage like all the data. Also, my therapist said I could try to ease myself slowly into enjoying human interactions through observing them. I wouldn't usually come straight out with something like that, but on current projections, it's 50-50 we won't see each other again because you get killed anyway. The beauty of our system is that you're still indelibly recorded. Think of it as your 15 terabytes of fame. You will always be part of the Illuminati in some data warehouse. Yeah, the secret world, with more major air quotes around the secret every day. I was already over it. If you want to see the most fucked up things ever, just go online. Real talk, don't act like I haven't got access to all your chat logs. Because we grew up alongside the internet. We were the first desensitized generation with our machine God-given ability to see everything wrong with the world all of the time. Even back in the 1980s, the Illuminati had predicted the internet would change everything. Not just gonzo conspiracy theorists being able to barf all over Usenet, but that in 30 years anyone could record an exorcism on their mobile phone and upload it to YouTube. No more secrets. So they had to control it. They planned out the networks like bonsai. A nip here, a tuck there, always a backdoor access. Blowing, then pricking the .com bubble, for which I am super thankful because it was a really shitty gig. And we have the kill switch for the whole thing. In case of emergency, break world.
I mean, she's not really wrong exactly. Crowley totally got killed within her first week, so just happened that she was cheating.
Let me guess, Rockstar, you want to know where the party's at. It's underground, and no, I can't spoof you through the security gates if you don't already have clearance. When you were headhunted, did they run that whole work hard, play hard spiel? Exactly. So because we choose the young and hungry, new hires always see this gig as slam dunking a few deals, getting loaded, and dancing badly to those rap videos we seed with all-seeing eye imagery. Don't get me wrong, it's not like that doesn't happen. They call it team building. Or sometimes team building means waterboarding, just to keep agents guessing. You really want to make the VIP list at the pyramid? I recommend finding something that makes people afraid of you, then getting really good at it. My talent is having admin-level access to all the board members' hard drives. Basically what I'm saying is no one even invites me out anymore. It sucks ass. The Templars really do have a direct line back to Babylon, yada yada, which coincidentally is pretty much where their computer literacy peaked. Millions in old money, heavily armed goon squads across the world, but security vulnerabilities like you wouldn't believe. I'm talking plain text passwords. If they roll up and tell you they're gonna save your soul, you say, "Guys, I wouldn't trust you to save my credit card info." They got hit by rapid modernization really hard, clocked on their asses hard, and never really recovered enough to stop us climbing over them. I can't sympathize, but I can understand it. Imagine your institution is built on knowledge being power, and now anyone with a web browser can be like, here you go, boom, cover-to-cover scans of the Key of Solomon. That sound you hear, like breaking china? It's the sound of 1,000 little oligarch dreams collapsing around them. History isn't written by the victors anymore. It's rewritten by the Wikipedia vandals. Oh, I love these guys. Really fun from a predictive security perspective, trying to guess what they'll come up with next if even their agents don't know. They've always gone hard on the secret part of secret society. I wouldn't call them really web-facing, but they're pros, naturals, at weaponizing the internet. See, back when the information was precious and traveled slowly, the Dragon worked silently. Now we have so many sources that can be triggered immediately. They can be as loud as they like in the information chaos.
Hello, Pim. We're spending some time with Crowley since it's our birthday.
The world being how it is, and people being how they are, it just takes one scare gone viral, one tweet to set it off. In the hysteria of heightened awareness, our chances of isolating the event that's actually happening are like zip. So, we become as paranoid as those numerology conspiracy nuts who think math is an Illuminati plot, and we jump at everything that goes wrong. Sometimes it really was the Dragon. Sometimes your day just sucked. Lose, lose. Right. The happy self-improvement Church of the Apocalypse. Fastest growing web presence of the decade, because their new followers drop out of other social networks. The networks are freaking out, offering Morning Light the metrics they sell to advertisers. It's wild. Average global response time for a Morning Light representative to hit a forum thread discussing trigger topics like unemployment, depression, economic uncertainty is 45 minutes. We looked into it, and there's no spam bots, no automation. That means thousands of manual searches and responses. Hello, crazy cult. And still, Morning Light are filed under not an issue on our grand plan, even though our spooks are all, hello, red flag, red flag. It's like we've got a game of internet chicken going on to see who blinks and commits an atrocity first. Maybe the situation right now is where that's got us. Well, you know it's not my place to talk policy unless it's IT policy. Not like anybody pays any attention to that either. I'm wasted here. No, I mean I really am wasted.
They really are. But, yeah, Cassini's a bro. She will hide reports if Gary's in a bad mood, so we don't get fired. But, yeah.
Please have yourself checked for STDs, RFIDs, and pollen.
Yeah, this is Labyrinth. The lower entrance and exit connects to the sewers, and out here we come out in a warehouse. Just kind of tucked into the back. And there are force fields around the entrances, so other factions can't get in. Mm-hmm. And we are like in an actual place in New York. Like people have found the streets and taken pictures from similar angles that look about the same.
Let's go to the keg.
But yeah. Got a nice hot dog vendor and whatnot. Over here is if you want to change your character's body type, you can go down this alleyway to modern Prometheus.
Do you want to know the truth? That's what the Morning Light can offer you. Insight, spiritual awakening, salvation.
Get a pamphlet if we want a pamphlet. Take a personality test. We'll have more reason to do that later. But for now, we will hop out and switch over to Neil and see what he's going to do today. We have zombies to go kill. I considered going to bash my face against the buildings, but I thought we might save that for another day. What do I got here? Some my purchasable bits and bobs. Crowley is still so much faster than him. It's very jarring. She gave you the strength to learn the lion. Now eat the honeyed entrails, because it is good, because it is sweet, because it is terrible. Initiate the Samson prerogative. Out of the eater comes what is eaten, and out of the strong comes what is sweet.
This forest crawls. Gets my fingers itching for two matters. One, the other, figuring out a way to keep them down. It ain't right the way the dead walk the earth. They deserve their 6 feet, same as everyone else. I've sworn to keeping guard here, and you've got places to be. But nothing's stopping you from culling the herd as you go. Hell, figure out what makes them tick and how to make that ticking stop, and I'll buy you a beer at the apocalypse. So go on, kid. Saddle up. The end of the world waits for no man. come from the South. The real old South. My partner Wolf and I ride for a higher authority. When you need to know us, you'll know us. You got a whole lot to learn about the secret world first, kid. And when you're all learned up, then you gotta understand what you learn. I come from the South. The real old South. My partner Wolf and I ride for a higher authority. When you need to know us, you'll know us. You got a whole lot to learn about the secret world first, kid. And when you're all learned up, then you gotta understand what you learned. Kinda like peeling the layers off an onion. Probably be as much weeping involved too. Won't lie to you. Won't talk down to you neither. You and me, we're the same. I'm just more experienced is all. And experience don't count for much these days. We've been stretched out thin as gauze. We need all the cool heads and steady hands we can get. Thought I had a measure of the absolute darkness in this world. The darkness waiting its turn, patient as all hell to come through. Turns out I was wrong. So, guess we both got some learning to do. Too much going wrong for such a little island. But this is how it always starts. As I've borne witness more times than I care to remember. Begins with a single act. Usually someone being damn stupid, damn greedy, or both. Let me tell you, kid, that kind is the worst kind. And it just piles on and piles on. And once that cellar door's open, ain't no one witching the damn thing shut again. You won't find ordinary people in a place like Solomon Island. They've all been touched. Because, see, here's the thing about the secret world. It's the kind of secret that spreads. The kind that sticks. Hell, that's how myth and legend got going. On a whisper. Passed door to door, going viral. Mighty dangerous things to get into people's heads. That's why most myths are 99% warning. Yeah, about as effective as the ones they slap on a packet of smokes. Sign of the times to see your people back in circulation. The dragon. You play your cards with one hell of a poker face, and then the casino goes up in smoke, and you were never there. Hell of a coincidence. The other societies are pissing in their pants. You know that, don't you? Afraid of what you might mean. That all the empires they've been building up brick by brick for centuries gonna mean squat in the end. Could be you're right, but hell, I never wrapped my head around chaos theory. Even if what happened here was because a butterfly flapped its wings or some such, I'd find it hard to begrudge the butterfly. Hell, I heard you guys have whole orchards of the critters. Well, you listen, kid, I ain't here to pass no judgment. Find the measure yourself. And if it should match up with the company you keep, well, then I tip my hat to you. Society is what keeps us apart from the dark.
I may have been muted. Is it working now, or? Ah, okay. I'm sorry. I don't know that you really missed much. That's Andy over there. We like Andy. This is the standard boilerplate message for minor side missions. So pretty much, I guess you just missed me reading or something. Got talisman reward. Can merge that into this one. Anything pretty much is fine for these low-level green ones, but they get more expensive to upgrade as we level them up. So eventually these low-level green things we can just sell. They're better used that way. Next, we are going to talk to Sheriff Bannerman.
Heck if I know where you folks keep coming from, but anyone who walks through that door alive pretty much gets my amnesty. Something in your past colors you sourly to a badge, I'd ask you to call it quits in return. We agreeable? Well then, I'm Sheriff Bannerman, and this down-home little state of emergency is what's left of my jurisdiction. Sure, we tried to hold as much of the town as we could at first. More out of nostalgia than any civil defense plan. I won't tell you Kingsmouth was a slice of heaven in a snow globe, but it was ours. Now it ain't. There was always something running under in this town. Maybe what's spilled out now. If that's how it works, I couldn't say hand on heart we didn't have it coming. But that fog, and the things in it, they didn't pick and choose when they came in. Most folks didn't stand a chance. Now, I can see you're armed. I won't kick up any fuss about that. Straight truth is, you'll need to be. Just don't go thinking that means you're deputized as such. Heaven knows if there was ever a time and a place for the right to bear 'em, you're looking at it. Henry has his word of God, that Roger woman has her crystal ball, and Norma out on the point's got a 12 gauge. My money's on Norma.
Yes, smush things together to upgrade them. And they're also the distillates, which are like kind of freebies. They're just little tubes that you can merge into things. We'll talk to Helen for a bit.
Well, I don't mind telling you, this makes no damn sense to me. And I hate to be the one drawing a blank on Final Jeopardy. But right now, folks just need me to look like I got all the answers. The questions, they come later, along with the grieving. Then, after a little time, folks will lose their hankering for the questions. Fact is, a few of them in high places get downright evasive about it. I never do quit. It's a bad habit. I'm just a sheriff after all, not some forensic detective like on that CSI. Thought I had it the worst when the Ravens came around years ago. Was an ugly time for Kingsmouth. Not the kind that makes it to the news. The kind we keep inside.
We can merge up to 5 things at once. But you only need one.
Now, I see those Ravens are all back in town. They with you? Or should I bring them in for questioning?
We'll also be sorting out the Ravens later.
If you're planning on striking out of town, Kingsmouth hospitality dictates I gotta set you right. And I need you to keep this on the down low. But there's worse out there than our undead problem. Worse than anything that shuffles along on 2 legs, that's for sure. I'm about as pleased as can be that I didn't catch a better look. Could be the kind of thing that gives a nightmare nightmares. You want to stay in the light. Keep out of the trees, out of the fog. We got a few folks left holding out across the island. Well, that was last time I could check, and I'm an optimist. Pays to see the donut, not the hole. Red's Shack at Tolba Bay, the Innsmouth Academy, the Wabanaki Indian Grounds. They should still be safe. Could be the others like you, that wolf fella, have set up camp out there. Toasting marshmallows and such. And steer clear of the pumpkin patch, eh? Just a feeling. Guess you could say I got lucky. Around the time this mess kicked off, I was up at the old lighthouse checking in on Sam Krieg, Maine's best-selling export. Oh sure, we do that fancy book learning around these parts too. Never much cared for horror stories or the man himself. Waving a rifle around in a dressing gown, juiced up, heck of a disturbance of the peace. Well, turns out that was the last of the piece. I gotta write this down, Sheriff. This is goddamn manna from heaven, he says to me when the fog let go. I left him magnuming that opus and hightailed it back to town. Tried to bring Ellie Franklin with me, but Kingdom Coming couldn't pry her from that mansion. Real monster house in the West Island. You can't miss it. I'd appreciate you letting them know we're still here for when they're done playing survivalists. You sure you want to be talking to me about all this stuff? I mean, I'm probably flattered that you think I'm in on it all. Truth is, I'm always the last to be invited to the midnight meetings at Town Hall. Reckon I must be all thumbs when it comes to secret handshakes. I know this island's cut from a different cloth. A damn weird cloth. Sure as there's a difference between being homely and being plain stupid. Take it from me, no one around these parts is a dope. Not all the time. Everybody knows, or knows someone who knows. Salem's got nothing on us. We had an episode with torches and pitchforks only 25 years ago now. But my job, I gotta do it wearing this police jacket. Not a robe and a wizard hat.
And this over here is her husband, Dr. Bannerman. He took her name because there was a Sheriff Bannerman before her that was her dad. And this guy's kind of weird.
The Lady Margaret was a traumatic experience for everyone on board. They were changed men when they came back. I visited with all of them in the days following their return. In my office, there are detailed transcripts of our sessions. I'm afraid it all happened so fast that day there was no time to pack. I hope they may shed some light on what happened out there.
It does. Anyway, here we are so far in Dawning of an Endless Night, which is our main story mission for this area. Kingsmouth, a once peaceful town in New England, has been overrun by the living dead. The survivors are holed up at the sheriff's office. Question them to learn more about this undead infestation. Jack Boone talked about how death and fog came to Solomon Island from the sea, and that someone brought it back with them. He believes that someone is still around, and that whatever the reasons anyone might have for being here, they should find out what the fog is, how it came, and what the people of Kingsmouth died for. He said the few survivors are mostly gathered to the east, at the sheriff's office in Kingsmouth. And we have to complete Helen's first mission here.
Well, hey!
Horror show. Sheriff Bannerman believes that mounting surveillance equipment near the police station can provide advance warning of impending attacks. She needs help to find useful equipment around town. Even a small town like Kingsmouth should have some security measures. Perhaps some of the local businesses have installed surveillance systems. Check the phone book for likely candidates.
Well, sure wasn't in our yearly budget to put the town under martial law. No, the good old boys on the council were all about thrifty spending, at least above the table. So I squirreled away where I could for some surveillance equipment. Police business, sure, let's call it civic awareness. I'm talking your webcams, your motion sensors. Oh, don't look so surprised. Kingsmouth might be out in the sticks, but we have electricity and everything. Running water in tourist season. Come back when this whole damn mess is blown over, I'll give you the tour far as the old lighthouse. But, to get to the point of it, seems to me we should bring that gear out of mothballs and get it hooked up around town. Gives me some early warning and the others a break from my collection of Jeopardy reruns.
Sabotage missions have a stealthy gameplay focus. These missions reward evading enemies and avoiding discovery. And a lot of them are kind of a pain. And here's the general map of the island with some locations on it. Let's see. Here is the actual in-game map. So this is about a third of Solomon Island. There's a western half, and then there's a bottom southern, well, third. And we'll get to all of those eventually. Got some blood. Oh, goodbye. Some injured people. Jail cell. Get a soda if we want. So we'll look at the phone book. We've got a few circled locations we can head to. The mining museum, bank, and a gas station that presumably have recently installed security equipment. So, off we head. I did end up paying for Patron. It just hasn't gone through quite yet. I'm sorry, they don't... It's a little bit weird. There's a Zig Cola machine inside the actual Orochi building, but most are bingo. It's unsure exactly if Orochi owns bingo or not. I've gone for my purposes, know that they're rivals and bingo just does better. But we've got some nice Halloween decorations. Here we have, like, I think they call them, oh, thank you, a champion. I think this is a little bit stronger enemy. This one shouldn't be anything overly special. We get a reward for beating him up. And there's like an achievement for getting all of the champions in a zone and in a region. Yeah. But what we need to do some climbing for. Somebody was holed up here for a while. Possibly that person over there on the sign. Being devoured. But we want the camera. We'll just climb on some other buildings for fun. There's the post office. And there are a a suspicious amount of ravens just kind of hanging around. And purple-haired people. This is probably the other camera we need. Another camera. These roadblocks, more so like in the original game, but they do kind of section off this area for like about what level you should be at. So these guys are a little bit easier to fight than the zombies on the other side there. And then like the ones past here are a little bit stronger still. And over there are our first Draug. Can we look at this camera now? Josiah, this is the one that needs changing. Have it done before I'm back from Bangor. New cameras are in the basement. Remember to fill out the repair form and file it with the museum admins. James Morris, janitor. This is the mining museum for the Blue Ridge mines up in the Blue Mountain, which is the western zone. Got some nice pictures. Bunch of miners. I'm sure nothing bad happened to any of these people. But also, yeah, Crowley has also kind of taken over this place too. Absolutely. They all died of natural causes at the end of their lives.
I think you should go away. You should go away now. You need to go away because I'm not feeling very stable right now.
That guy's also fine. Let's look at our mission information. The camera at the mining museum was broken. A note left by a janitor indicates the replacements are in the museum basement. Go to the basement and pick up a working camera. A man has sought refuge in the basement and filled it with booby traps. Proceed carefully and search for the box of cameras. And down here you can see our little achievement, Silent Witness. Pretty much we have to get through this area without exploding. If we do explode, then this will break and we'll have to quit the mission and try it again. which is really fun on the non-patron route that takes about 3 days to try again. This is where Crowley got her first actual gameplay death that I decided not to count because I inched too close to these lasers while trying to take a screenshot. And she exploded. But, yes, those cameras up there will shoot us if we step into light, which I think is what you were having issues with, Pim. You just kind of loop around here. This one's pretty easy. You're never the issue. Safe over here. Like a lot of these other sabotage missions, if they don't have, you know, lethal cameras, they have unkillable level 50 enemies. So they can be fun. But we got Silent Witness for this one. Now we just gotta kill this dude. This incredibly normal dude. No idea why he was so weird. this way, we also have a Council of Venice outpost. So they have a little shop that we can use. Some healing stuff. We can sell our junk if we have any junk to get rid of. And this is their logo, the lion with the sword. Our wisdom flows so sweet, taste and see. Transmit, initiate assembly signal. Receive, initiate the lame behemoth syntax. Deadlock voting remains unbroken. Initiate the Armageddon proclamation. Sound and fury signifying nothing. The Technicolor spectrum. Witness the Council of Venice. And their team colors are the white and teal. Very nice, guys. The janitor was a frightful sight. Something seeped into his very skin and changed him somehow. Was he even human any longer? Still, the sheriff is waiting. Better get out of the creepy basement and start installing those cameras around the police station. The cameras are installed. Return to the sheriff's office to initialize the system. Can play around with the computer. And this is pretty much what all of our hacking, quote unquote, will look like. We have this little ghost system. So this is Solomon Island Law Enforcement's computer. Option 1 is the station security system. Option 2, suspect database. Look at that in a second. We initialize the camera system. Now we can just kind of look at the cameras. There's nothing really on them. We have 4 suspects: Nathan Atherton, Bill Dexter, Dave Gardner, and Che Garcia Hansen. And some of these names will be important later. So, Nathan... Subject: rape of a tourist by Nathan Atherton. Multiple reports of harassment and eyewitness reports led to the apprehension of a suspect for the rape of, name of minor redacted. Sent Deputy Gardner home for the evening. I'm concerned for the safety of the prisoner if I leave him alone with Andy. Still, I hope they throw the book at this scumbag. Bill Dexter. Multiple alcohol-related misdemeanors of Bill Dexter. Multiple counts of drunk driving, public exposure, and creating a public nuisance. Multiple warnings filed. All officers have been very lenient, but this behavior can no longer be tolerated. Reported animal cruelty by Dave Gardner. An eyewitness reported suspect throwing a muling sack into the bay behind Jack and Wendy's bed and breakfast in Journey's End. Witness not willing to testify. Warning filed. Multiple noise complaints from local residents. Suspect was verbally aggressive but physically passive. Was not impressed by the small-mindedness of local residents, but agreed to bow to the man. And our turn-in for horror show. Very well. Data from these cameras is being transferred to important monitors. Eyes will be assigned to watch these monitors at all times. Now the dragon will see our enemies in Kingsmouth, as well as the enemies of our enemies, the Templars and the Illuminati. The cleaning man, he showed symptoms of a very rare, very old disease. He was not like the living, and not like the dead. Tentacles do not come from the head without reasons. Please provide more information about these reasons. Item power. Item power is represented by the number of pips at the bottom of your item. Common, great for improving other items, have 1 pip. Uncommon, have 2 pips, improve basic stats. And rare, have the best possible base stats and have 3 pips. It is rumored that certain extraordinary items will grant you unique powers, and they usually have special names in the red background. Yeah, we'll use this one. This is Purification Drone. It cleanses 1 detrimental effect from your target ally each second for 6 seconds. And also heals for 10. The red special one we got is the Hypnotic Memory Suppressor. And it shoos away enemies that are currently chasing you. Nothing overly exciting. I want to look at my abilities. Pistol. Load is the one I ultimately want.
Spooked the heck out of me, and I figured I was fresh out of scares.
And now we're going to talk to Andy.
Jeez. You never saw anything like this in the cop shows. Well, maybe on cable. Not the network ones. You wouldn't know it from looking out there, but before that wicked bad fog rolled in, Kingsmouth was a sleepy little burg. Nothing stronger on the streets than a hot cup of coffee and chocolate-glazed donuts from Susie's. The occasional DUI or domestic disturbance. Human sacrifice. But every town has a dark side, right? We sure are getting a heaped help in the darkness now, eh? The Walking Dead and worse besides taking over our town. Us survivors hold up in here, hoping it's all just a bad dream and we'll wake up to the smell of bacon and maple syrup. But unless someone ups and does something, and soon, all we're gonna wake up to is the smell of rotten flesh. And I don't need another thing to remind me of my dad. Halloween does bring back the memories, eh? I wanted to be a police officer since as far back as I can think. I had a lot of time to myself growing up. I watched all the cop shows, again and again. The old shows. When a good cop was always a good cop. When you knew you could trust a badge, right? You knew before the half hour was up, they'd get the guy. Out of the basement. So that was my goal. Plain and simple. I was single-minded about it. You ask anyone, and they'll say, hey, yeah, that Andy, he sure is single-minded. Now, I wasn't what you'd call a straight-A student, but I got there. I got there. And when Sheriff Bannerman swore me on as deputy, gave me my badge, I'd been up all night ironing this shirt. It was crisper than you'd believe. Well, that day I was just as happy as a clam at high tide. Sure chokes me up seeing Main Street all done up in buntings and so empty. The kids love that Halloween parade, you know? Then they'd all bus on up Bangor way for the haunted hay rides, ever since our local amusement park closed down. There were troubles. It was before my time. Still, what town doesn't have a little trouble? With cultists? There was that repeat killer, I wouldn't say serial killer, but he came from the mainland. And that mess with the college kids at the old hunting cabin? Bears, we reckoned. Jeez, it's all laid out like that, it does sound pretty bad, huh? This right now is definitely the worst we've ever had, though. This is the real storm of the century. If we push on through it, I am not looking forward to taking a shovel to the streets after. Oh, I knew everyone in Kingsmouth. A safe community isn't a spectator sport. I memorized that one. And Sheriff Bannerman preferred to have me walking the beat, you know, while she handled house calls. That suited me just fine. You know, our folks were a good bunch. They only cause a ruckus when they've had too much of the, you know what. But recently I got talking to Sandy. That guy's pretty philosophical. You wouldn't know what to look at him. I mean, I don't personally have a problem with bikers. I'd like a motorcycle myself. Anywho, he made me really consider it, you know, whether you really ever knew a person. I told him how in second grade I met Anna Redmond behind the gym every day for 2 months. We would hold hands. I thought I knew her pretty good. She left town all of a sudden one day. Halloween. Jeez. Always Halloween. Moose says it's best to talk things out. So, here I am, talking. Mom bought the kittens and Dad drowned them. That's the facts of it. I don't like speculating much, that's one step away from guessing. And the sheriff, she taught me never to guess. Mom's version was that Dad loved things too much. Got a bit crazy sometimes, hugged real hard. Didn't always want to let go. The morning he stuffed them in a bag and took them out to sea, he was full of too much feelings. Didn't know what to do with them. He took them down to Journey's End, out behind the bed and breakfast. It's where the journey ended. Jeez, Dad always wore these masks, you know? For the longest time, you figure you know someone. Most of the time, really, we got no idea.
So yeah, Andy's dad is the one that was in the suspect database for killing the kittens. And that ends up connecting to one of the Halloween events that we'll probably look at later. Kind of depends if we can get to the mountain before it ends. Yeah, we'll see you, Andy. we've got a respawn point there.
You gotta get to the north barricades before they do. See if you can't head them off at the northern barricade. Those zombies are making a mess of that north barricade.
Yeah. If it helps, they come back as horrible undead abominations.
We got some more trouble on the south barricade.
Safe driving, Kika.
Coming in from the south side now. We got some more trouble on the south barricade. You're taking that southern barricade apart. Looks as though we got the situation under control for now.
That doesn't quite look like a zombie. What a strange and terrible creature. Fascinating. The Draug are an ancient Nordic variety of undead, and they appear to have dominion over the unliving locals. There are indeed primitive records of Nordic involvement in Kingsmouth, tales of Vikings passed down as whispers rather than recorded history. We will follow up on the historical links. What we need from you are further observations regarding Draug activity along the shore. We are particularly interested in their capacity to direct the local attacks. Helen Bannerman is in a state of emergency. Most of Kingsmouth is gone, overrun by fog and zombies, and she was happy to see anyone armed and ready to fight. There was always a darkness in Kingsmouth, she said, and she believes there's a chance they may have brought them upon themselves. Mutilated corpse. The hunger. The wounds on a mutilated corpse close to the woods suggest a mauling from something even more dangerous than zombies. Search for the predator. A trail of blood leads away from the corpse. It could lead you to the predator.
Visual tracking initiated.
So this is our little tracking system. It makes our next points glow. After Crowley got Oculus, I said that she was using them to track like this. We got some more bits of a person. Delicious.
Additional assignment received. Initializing.
That's pretty much just a kind of random encounter thing. Defeat a few wisps since we're in the area with a bunch of wisps. Got this neat spooky tree. Actually won a screenshot contest posing up on this tree with like the moon setting behind me, and I got an autographed poster from Funcom. The light off in the distance, the flicker at the edge of reason. The people of Ireland, England, and Wales tell stories of a glow made by the fairy folk or elemental spirits. They brought those stories with them to Solomon Island. Perhaps they brought something else. There are 1,000 variations of the story, but always there's a distant ghost light drawing travelers away from the safe path. But yeah, it's a really neat tree. We'll be coming back to this tree for other reasons. But for now, I need to find my trail of body bits again. There it is. Kill the voracious Wendigo. There he is.
Visual tracking initiated. Visual tracking initiated.
Just generic reports. I've been getting like rewards for completing daily challenges, killing a bunch of stuff, completing missions, powering stuff up. Now we shall meet Miss Norma Creed.
Yeah. You'd think these wet bits would just fizzle on the bonfire, but no. They sparkle like kindling wood. That's heartening. Geez, what a mess. Good thing I'm not particular. Now I'm used to getting my hands dirty. Fish guts, childbirth, sutures, the dead. Yeah, maybe I was born for this work. That don't sound right. Nobody's made for this ungodly work. Except maybe this old thing. So I kill and I chop and I burn, but there's more of them every day, and I feel like I'm pushing a very big stone up a very steep mountain, and it keeps rolling back down. What do you call that? Sisyphean? Or is that when you get a burning in your privates? My idea of culture is reruns of Cheers and, you know, not ancient Greek mythology. Well, the old gal ain't a proper match for everything that turns up on my doorstep. Seems she's too much for most of it. Spreads a bone and dead man's guts all over the place. There's no time to gather it all up before we're right back up in the thick of it. And they never stop coming. They never stop coming.
Can't talk to her about anything else right now. But there's kind of an idea that a lot of people in town have a very minor form of filth infection. And they're kind of picking up on knowledge that they haven't actually learned. So she may not actually know anything about Sisyphus, but since she's linked into the filth's network unknowingly, she's picking up on it. Number one's over here, so I'll just go grab that first. The fog. Our wisdom flow so see, taste and see. Transmit. Initiate New England signal. Receive. Initiate the Merc frequency. Low visibility will bring traffic to a crawl. Initiate necrotic syntax. Witness. The fog. It kind of comes up a bit more as we progress, but the filth is a little bit like the buzzing in that it's kind of a collective, but the filth is more aggressive in that it drags kind of everybody in and assimilates them, where the buzzing for the most part still allow us to go around as our normal singular human self. The filth doesn't understand that concept. It comes up a little bit more, I know, when we start talking to John. There was no forecast, there were no screams, there was no sound, only the fog. It crept in and it crept out. The people walked, and the people died. Then they walked again. The fog followed the return of the lost fishing vessel, the Lady Margaret. The crew had a story to tell, of a graveyard of ships, of the red seaweed cloaca that versed the fog. Ask us about the Lady Margaret, sweetly. Ask us properly, and we will tell you. But yeah, why they're bringing that up here in general. Norma's husband and sons were on the crew of the Lady Margaret, and there is a reason they aren't here right now. But yeah, Solomon Death Cult. Those aren't normal zombies. Unearthed mob. Some of these are a bit different than the gooey zombies we've been fighting. Like the Ravenous Horde. What small town doesn't have a death cult? 2 or 5. Now we're gonna collect some nice bits to stick in Norma's bonfire. That's weird. So we stuck those zombie bits into the fire and it started burning blue. Let's see why it did that. And read her mission stuff. Norma's house is surrounded by zombies, and even though she blasts them to pieces with her shotgun, they never seem to stop coming. She is encouraged by the way the bones burn on her bonfire, however. Perhaps incinerating the zombie remains is a way of getting rid of them altogether. Norma can't seem to kill the zombies attacking her house fast enough. There's no time left for cleaning up the remains. Help Norma defend her house. The zombies have been kept at bay for now. Collect the body parts scattered around Norma's yard and the nearby woods and throw them on the bonfire. The bones fizzled on the bonfire, turning the flame a mystical blue. There are 4 general kinds of zombies in the area. Those that are dry and slow due to age, those that are wet from emerging out of the water, those that run fast, and those that appear to have cultist roots. Find out which zombies remain cause this particular reaction. Zombies up here are kind of old and crispy. Vengeful victims. And sour ground. And the forgotten fiend up here. And some, what looks like, makeshift graves. Never really find out much of the story about what happened to all these people up here. I think that, like, the major theory is that the Forgotten Fiend was a serial killer, and these are his victims. They just got buried, I mean, reasonably nicely up here in the woods where nobody goes.
Additional assignment received. Initializing.
Undead excavators. So here we have one of the Drog grave robber, and he is directing some of the returned townies to dig for something. Another one. How he aggroed when I attacked the zombies, even though I didn't get any closer to him, really. We have Father Appleby, a nice cult leader back here. Sometimes there's a special drop that I believe spawns back here sometimes. Doesn't look like it's here now. It is part of a corpse. If you collect all of the corpse bits, then you can summon a special boss. But he is a level 50, intended for groups. Just need some soggy zombies. There's one. mariners. They like to vomit. He decided to drop a bit of lore for us. We see the wet zombie, the waterlogged ones. They were buried in the sea. As the Drog traveled across the Sargasso with the fog, they swept up all the dead sailors of all the ages along the way, and they are still being called to Kingsmouth by the Drog. Woken from their deep graves, they slowly walk along the ocean floor and onto the beaches of Solomon Island. Burn our dry zombie bits, wet zombie bits, and the quick zombie bits, and the cultist bits. And there we get the blue flame again. The mystical blue flame came from the remains of the cultists. The creatures are burning blue fires in the woods as well. There must be a connection. Examine the cultist blue fires. Fires appear to be part of some dark ritual. The blue fires are being lit all over the forest. Collect more body parts and complete the ritual to see what happens. Which is, you know, what you should always do if you see a weird, dark ritual going on. Finish it for the people. It's just polite. But also the cultists are kind of neat. You can see through them. They're missing all their innards. Couple more. Closer. We've got some fancy, like, paintings going on too, or tattoos. Please stop mauling me so I can hear you. See? Bandages, markings. That's pretty cool. We're gonna head down.
Local bounty detected. Initiating.
We've got something about reanimated warriors. got some more of the townies digging up, looks like some skeletal remains. These guys don't look like any kind of modern zombie. We got walking away from them here. Some fancy get-up going on. Whatever could it mean? We've got a site where they started a ritual. Don't seem to have finished it yet. Luckily, we brought our lighter. What do you know? We summoned their leader. Absolutely a shame. Hello, Velvet Whispers. Doing all right. Perhaps the vote rotated, caught in the beginnings of a maelstrom. Perhaps the men looked upon the rotting hulks and saw a glistening movement of lean, slimy bodies writhing in red seaweed like undead otters cracking open skulls for their fruit. Perhaps the fog and the dark conspired to play tricks. Oh, thank you. These dead wielders of the dark arts are more powerful now than when they were alive. The soil has nurtured them, made them stronger. This vigor translates into autonomy from the Drog. They are the slowest of their kind, and therefore the most dangerous. Like the great predators, they take their time digging up their brothers, summoning their leaders, preparing rituals for their ancient gods. Some of these rituals you will indeed have to complete in order to destroy. Others you must not dare. Thursdays at the moment, so just once. And here we have some nice Illuminati wards. Sure. If you'd like to, well, I don't know that I can, I don't think I have links enabled. Where do you have them posted? We found an idol of Nurgle. Stashed inside a small cave warded by Illuminati symbols is an artifact, an idol, gray with age. It radiates old power, and not of the good kind. Hidden behind wards and protected by magic, it has been left alone for hundreds of years. There must be a reason why the idol was hidden away like this. But in these times, all items of power should be controlled or destroyed. Not at the moment, probably. Oh, just leave the cave. That's an easy command. I'm sure nothing will. Oh no, zombies. Whoever would have expected zombies in a situation like this? That's fine. Same thing, pretty much, I'm sure. I can send you a request myself afterwards. It'll probably only go maybe another hour or so. We are pleased by your actions. The idol of Nurgle is better off destroyed than in the hands of our foes. There are many such ancient relics stored along the New England coast. The Illuminati amassed them to feel powerful, but they lack the courage to control chaos. We have the courage. What do the Illuminati have to say about it? I am so not in the mood to deal with Acadian hell gods right now. The New England coast is filled with caches from the Prohibition era. After Prohibition, we started using them to stockpile certain kinds of artifacts. The kinds we weren't able to make an effective manual for. Others, like the Idol of Nurgle, are just destined to be destroyed. Ciao ciao.
Well now, I'm not much fit for entertaining, but I reckon you ain't much in the mood for hospitality either, am I right? Oh, I'm not a big talker, eh? I'm used to that from a surly husband, and kids more comfortable with kicking a ball around than having a conversation with their ma. Name's Nama. Nama Creed. Raised a family up here before this dungeon thick fog came took 'em is my story. Helen sent you over to check on me, I reckon. Now, your concern is wicked kind, but I don't need any pitying. I got my shotgun, I got what's left of my wits. I'll manage. Now, this hullabaloo began after the Lady Margaret came back. My husband Larry, the others, we all thought that they'd gone missing out there, but the sea took them. The day they came back, whole town could finally breathe again. But then came that fog, like it was following them back to shore. 'Twas right, said they, such birds to slay, that bring the fog and mist. Don't ask me where I got that from. Probably heard it on Oprah. Never got to ask Larry about what happened in those weeks they were gone. Been around gift horses long enough not to look him in the mouth. He was back. Thought life would go on the way life goes on, one day at a time. When the fog lifts enough to see the Lady Margaret laid up in the harbor, covered in that red seaweed, I always wonder if he'd still be here if I had.
Lady Margaret was a local fishing boat that had been lost at sea. When it returned to Kingsmouth, everyone in town breathed a sigh of relief at their friend's return. But then came the fog. Norma Creed's husband had been on board the Lady Margaret, and she believes it all started there, out at sea, and that the fog came back with the sailors. But she never had a chance to ask her husband what had happened out there. So, let's go see the Lady Margaret for ourselves. I think there are some quests out here. We'll grab those and loop around. Anything else at the point before we move on? No, not really. But, got some weird fleshy brood pods gestating. A light in the sky. Next to a corpse lies a note and a box of signal flares. The note next to the body reads, "Be once it done, so you do. We are the morning light. We don't ask stupid fucking questions, and we obey our leaders." It also has coordinates of places around the island, spots to shoot up the flares. Go to the marked spots and shoot up the flares to see what happens. Alas, poor hippies. Stuck in a log. But yeah, let's poke one of these and see what happens. It's a newborn baby frog. This one's a lady. Was a lady. You can see out here what the pods are made out of. Watch this person walk on shore, they should turn into one of these pods. Now there you can see one of the sea witches implanting the pod into a person. Which is how the dog reproduce. There we go. And those will hatch into new drug soldiers once they're fully cooked. Isn't nature beautiful? So the ones that still live in the area in Crowley's timeline have politely agreed to not take people from the town, but they are allowed to grab whatever drowned corpses they find and use those to make more drog. Because we respect the circle of life about as much as we can. Do we want to grab 1712 fire right now? We'll be back for that. Much. If we knew how to find them, we would have taken them ourselves. When they go further out to sea, we don't own those ones, so free recycling. Pretty. Crowley's blog, I also looked up a lot of what the names mean, but I cannot recall for the life of me anymore. The fog parted as a freak show curtain, revealing a graveyard of ships. Rusty steel, ancient wood, dhows, Viking longboats, modern frigates, oil tankers, and luxury cruise liners. They all dipped and bobbed in the same water. Vessels from all times, all cultures, all covered in red. Excuse me, I'm reading. This is the Lady Margaret. What's left of her. All covered in this weird, rusty red seaweed that I'm sure is perfectly safe to touch. Captain's log. Lucky to be writing this. Can't believe what happened. Shouldn't believe it. That's what Doc Bannerman would say. Shrink's going to be earning his pay when we get home. If we get home. Larry and his boy Derek are clammed up. Joe's real fevered, and this thing still shining like a flashlight. I look over my shoulder. I swear I still see that fog. The captain's log mentions several of the crew went mad after they had found a strange item out at sea, and that Dr. Bannerman would be needed to talk to them when and if they were to return. And hey, we got more bullets for Andy. The Lady Margaret rests moored and abandoned in the pier. Perhaps there may be something of interest left behind. You notice some unopened boxes of ammunition left behind on the Lady Margaret. Deputy Andy and the sheriff's station could certainly use more rounds. Our wisdom flows so sweet. Taste and see. Transmit. Initiate New England signal. Receive. Initiate the Caliphate frequency. The weather started getting rough. The tiny ship was tossed. Initiate echinoderm I can't talk. Echinoderm syntax. Witness. Lady Margaret. We see the sea witches. Those transformed shaman have uniquely retained some sense of individuality, if not their past lives. They are forever locked in their trance state, where once they heard the will of the spirits, now they only hear the whispers of the dreaming ones. They wail songs of madness. We see the sea callers. The fog, this airborne filth, responds to their voice, and the water churns to their will. We see the brood witches. Slimy tentacles reach out from their chests, impregnating the walking corpses with eldritch seed. Which is what we looked at earlier. There they are. Just having a nice time. Impregnating corpses. Stop at Susie's Diner for a moment. Here's Susie. Following the signal. Somewhere, a trucker reads alien letters carved into the bathroom stall walls of a truck stop. He cannot look away. Pathogens in the grammar open an event horizon in his head. He spreads the scrawl in every stop on his route, carving it into the stalls. He itches and he scratches. Others see the letters. They itch. They scratch. He scratches his face, draws the rune in red with his box knife. His head blossoms into a bouquet of writhing lampreys. The Arachi group. Flip the Three of Pentacles, the Orange Serpent Head, Zagan. The upright position. A major producer of packaged foods and drinks, Zagan has released a new line of healthy, genetically enhanced, bioengineered products. Research includes vat-grown meat products, which could eliminate the need for animals raised for slaughter. The reverse position. Board members discuss psychochemical drugs in food as a behavioral modification. In a rainforest, zombie ants shamble up the branches, mind-controlled by the aggressive fungus soon to burst from their bodies. Get the joke? The dead walk. Say the sentence, sweetling. Just as impossible as anything else that has happened to you since the bee. Yet it sits on your tongue easier. You are not that surprised. It is weird how much is not weird. They have shambled through the zeitgeist of your species for so long. The dead that walk. Creed Brothers Hardware Supplies. There are no more Creed Brothers. Feigs Pharmacy. Yeah, probably. Went to Bermuda. Hey, Deputy Andy here. Hope I'm not bothering you. The boss managed to contact Sheriff Bannerman, and she thought it would be a good idea for the team to have your contact info. I noticed you were too late when you stopped by earlier, but you were already running down towards the docks. I was too focused on my duty, huh? I'm glad you came back. When you get the opportunity, could you swing by and say hello? I'd like to share some observations with you.
Now, The Walking Dead? I can wrap my head around that. They're dead folk, just walking is all. But those other things, tall and pale, slimy as maggots, they washed up with the fog. Out to sea, drowned them. Just like my dad with the kittens. He took them out to sea in a garbage bag. Said they were gonna go for a swim. Said they needed the exercise. They never came back. A few years later, neither did my dad. Jeez, I still miss those kittens. The townsfolk, they did come back, dragging what looked like eggs. The big uns, they come out of those eggs, like something from Invasion of the Body Snatchers. They're littered all over the place and guarded, and I'm thinking to myself, Andy, that's gotta mean something. That's gotta be a clue. Why keep an eye on something if it ain't valuable? That's police work. That's deduction, plain and simple. So I'm thinking, what came first, the maggot or the egg? Obviously the egg, right?
I'm bad at talking, okay? Andy has a theory about the sea monsters and how to potentially slow down their advance. Kill Drog and destroy their pods to find out if he's onto something. Andy has been observing the monsters that came from the sea and how they drag slimy pods around and onto the beach. He figures the pods must be valuable. Go down to the beach to study the Drog and do whatever you can to sabotage them. I'm sorry. Hey, it's Pam the Clam. Hooray! She's still here. I'll grab this since we're here. The 1712 fire. And by, the Illuminati were free to conduct the real investigation. They blamed the Templars, that old, comfortable dance. But the children of Iron Pyramid worship at the altar of practicality more than they bow to the shrine of grudges. Investigation, both mundane and magical, revealed no evidence to damn their ancient enemy. Welcome home. Children. Yes, they're breeding well this year. I think the brood witches are neat. I like how they lead with their tentacles. And the human part of them just kind of drags along behind. There's the Lord. And funny how he doesn't look human at all. This is excellent work. The reproductive instinct of any creature offers a wide window into its nature. To this point, the Draug have generally been discreet. However, mass breeding on a populated shore suggests a marked change of philosophy. Either dwindling numbers have forced them into the open, or these are the front lines of an organized invasion. For now, let us assume all possibilities are true. And we get signed off with like this number, which is why I think that all of the dragon responders are different people, just randomly. Yeah. Some nice, ominous friends. There are fragments of older tales embedded in the seagull screams. Mariners' tales of things birthed in dead bodies and dark water. Putrid souls stippled with eel holes. These unquiet dead, these hungry dead, with their milk cataract stare. A few seagulls even remember the name. Draug, 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 Draug. He might still be a little hard. here. We'll talk to Dr. Bannerman. Yes, can't remember. Does he have anything much more to say about the Lady Margaret?
The Lady Margaret was a traumatic experience for everyone on board. They were changed men when they came back. I visited with all of them in the days following their return. In my office, there are detailed transcripts of our sessions. I'm afraid it all happened so fast that day there was no time to pack. I hope they may shed some light on what happened out there.
So we're gonna break into his office pretty much. But we'll also grab this. Missing persons. A list of missing people serves as a sober reminder of the lives affected by the horrible events on Solomon Island. Some of them could still be alive and in need of help. Search for the people listed on the note in the police station. Find out if they are dead or alive, or somewhere in between. And like you could kind of see on our menu over there, we can take 3 of these smaller side missions. And then we've got the action sabotage missions occupy 1 slot. Investigation, it gets its own slot. And then, yeah, we get 3 sides. So we'll take this one too. The Curious Case of Joe Slater. Dr. Bannerman is looking for the lost pages of his report on Joe Slater. Gather them up and deliver them to his file. Dr. Bannerman has written a psychiatric evaluation of a man called Joe Slater. Several pages are missing, and the report doesn't make much sense without them. Find the lost pages. Dr. Bannerman confirmed that he talked to some of the sailors after they returned with Lady Margaret, but he left all of his notes and files at the office when the fog came in. What do you have? You can probably do supply run too. Helen Bannerman and the survivors at the police station are running out of supplies. Go around to the stores and businesses of Kingsmouth and look for food and other things they might need. Local stores and businesses might have supplies lying around. They should be listed in the phone book.
Ain't this a heck of a thing? 3 years without firing a shot, other than putting down some animal got itself hit by a truck. These past nights, we've gone through bullets like candy at Halloween. I used that jail cell to dry out old paperwork mostly. Or Bill Dexter when he'd had a bad one. Now I've got all these folks good as locked in here, and no sleeping it off for the morning either. The way things are headed, I'm seeing us outlasting our supplies. Not by much, if it comes to that. Andy finds what he can, but with the cruisers stuck propping up the barricade... So I'm obliged to anyone who'll poke around town a piece. Bring in the essentials. We can call it requisitioning. I don't think the store owners will be writing this one off as an act of God. Now come back without a piece.
We'll do our best. So we're gonna start at Call of the Wild, Flags Pharmacy, gas station again, Creed Brothers hardware store. See what we can find there. We've been to Susie's. Susie's a great lady. Love Susie. Bet if we ask nicely, she might even give us a discount. Yeah, we can go into the clinic now. Seems like things went pretty well in here. We have a CD, The Four Seasons by Vivaldi. A broken framed photo. Night Helen and I met under the fireworks set to The Four Seasons. Robert, I had a wonderful time last night. Looking forward to seeing you again soon. Hope you enjoy the CD. It's the only by Vivaldi that Flags had in stock. Helen. Kingsmouth Medical Clinic. Case database. Information in the case database is strictly confidential. Please enter your password. Type hint for a password hint. My favorite composer. Type hint to view the alternative password hint. Music of the seasons. So, what do we think his password is? Alas. Doesn't seem to have been Beethoven. Any other guesses? We shall never progress. But yeah, it's Vivaldi. Note, divulging information from the case database can lead to fines, deregistry from the main medical board, and significant litigation. So we're going to put it up on stream. Choose a case to proceed. We have a deviant teenager, Lady Margaret incident, and the fortune teller. So let's look at this deviant teenager. Regarding patient Danny Dufresne, 10 Belmont Avenue. Referral Mr. Rosen. Reason for referral, deviant behavior including voyeurism and graffiti. Method, Helen thought this assessment would be the best way to stop Mr. Rosen from pressing charges. It was pretty funny, the YouTube clip of Rosen in his underwear watering roses. Diagnosis, Danny is a fine, healthy young man. His sense of humor might make him some enemies. The fortune teller? Madame Roget, real name unknown. Contact details, Lovecraft Lane. Referral, self-appointment. Reason for referral, not disclosed. Method, M. Roget seems to suffer from a variety of deviant sexual fantasies, not the least of which involve an inappropriate doctor-patient relationship. Diagnosis, dynamite. And the one we really wanted, the Lady Margaret incident. Regarding patients, Derek Creed, Lawrence Creed, and Joe Slater. Lawrence and Derek Creed, business address 5 Main Street, 555-1004. Joe Slater, home address 20 Arkham Avenue, 555-1782. Yes, he is incredibly ethical. They came to me after the Lady Margaret limped back into the harbor. All of them needed help, so I arranged separate interviews. Diagnosis? It is too early to tell, but something clearly happened on that ship. Of course. Derek suffers from severe headaches and a keen sense of paranoia. The similarities with Joe Slater and Lawrence Creed are alarming. It seems the symptoms develop at uneven rates, but I fear everyone on boat might be affected with this, whatever it is. Second consultation with Lawrence today. The headaches are getting worse to the point where he can no longer function normally. The paranoia has not abated, and he has developed a new symptom, night terrors. I prescribed an antidepressant, but I fear if his development is anything like Joe's, I fear he will only get worse. I saw Joe again today. This was the 4th consultation, and I'm at a loss. He was barely coherent. His left leg twitched, and he obsessively scratched his right arm. Paranoia has developed into severe delusions. Consulted with Hartman in New York, who suggested the symptoms are most likely signs of schizophrenia, which echo my earlier diagnosis. With others from the boat presenting similar symptoms, however, and the patient's lack of response to medication, I fear this might be something environmental, perhaps something eating away at the brain. Prescribed clozapine, but I am not optimistic. But I am sure he's fine. Yeah, probably. Maybe even less effective, though. Got some ammunition boxes. motorcycle. Something back in the alley there. Missing people we were supposed to find. So much for him. There's Derek Creed. And there's Lawrence Creed. Papers.
Faction rank. New rank. The waiting.
He's probably around here somewhere. But yeah, this is Joe Slater's house. Green means good. Pretty sure. Slater is absolutely still alive and in one piece. Hello, person doing the same mission as me. Here's another person we were supposed to locate.
안전벨트를 착용하고 1번 코드 상황을 준비하세요.
Thank you.
Special assignment received. Initializing.
You squint. You strain. Are you trying to see us? Your Paleolithic ancestors saw us. They tried to draw our likeness on the cave walls. People in Point Pleasant, West Virginia tried to draw us. In 1967, their eyes blistering red from the sight. We tried to warn them of the collapsing bridge. What do we look like? We are in the eye of the beholder, looking out and looking in. Another missing person that has unfortunately not fared well. They were certainly feeling the heat. There. Hey, this guy actually survived. Made it to this lovely church with the unique iconography going on here. We'll be back later. It does. There's a reason why the church saves, and not just that the pastor has a gun. And our last missing person. So, like, one person on a list of people we are asked to look for is about our standard rate. But yes, Pastor is incredibly skilled and very, very religious. And not at all a weirdo. Pretty much, we're probably just gonna finish up this mission and get these turned in, and then we'll call it an evening. Acceptable weirdo. I mean, like, generally acceptable weirdo. He's... The Illuminati aren't thrilled with him. That was a golem. Yeah. Sometimes they form naturally. That one, being a jury-rig protector, as it was called, presumably they made it. Before, you know, they died horribly. The door is locked tight and barred from the inside. I mean, it isn't technically a robot, I suppose. Probably should have waited to go to the fire department, but we can still go do that. Yeah, I suppose they wanted it to kill people. It was to stop people breaking into their store. We can fast travel back.
Hello, my friend.
Hi. We'll talk to you next week, probably. I love Sandy. Sandy's cool. Dump the supplies in here. Huh. So this one's not from the dragon. Ever feel like you're not getting ahead? Do they start you down at the bottom and make you go down? I bet you all the office parties start at 5 and end at 7. Well, not everyone is full of shit. We've been watching you, and we like what you see. Ever been to New York? This is not an invitation. This never happened. Just something to think about. Later, Gator. But yeah, sometimes the factions will try to scout each other. So here's the labyrinths. This is Cassini being our bro. Delivery to recipient failed. Technical details of failure? The system tried to deliver your message, but it was rejected by the recipient domain. We recommend being chill because your sysadmin is on it. The error that the other server returned was 717-717 KG cut list chop chop. Unreadable address state 9. Yo, Geary's in the middle of making cuts. Now is not the time to remind her that you exist. I'll forward your shit post-calling. And it looks like the Illuminati were also scouting the Templars. And for supply run, your report offers insight into the landscape of Kingsmouth. Further mapping of the town will be essential going further. Do not be fooled by the stubbornness of the local law enforcement. The sheriff's battle with the dead is the equivalent of a clumsy shogi game, one in which neither player can see more than one move ahead. Chaos is the only authority in the region.
Now you are a sight for sore eyes.
Hello. And this is Joe Slater's medical report summary. Session 1. First time seeing Joe Slater. Believe he's always suffered from mild hypomania. This business with Lady Margaret has just brought it to the fore. Session 2. Hypnosis with a bust. Joe doesn't want to remember whatever happened to him out there. I got him speaking in tongues. Well, a tongue. Called around the Harvard boys. They say it's old Icelandic. Now where the hell does a townie pick that up? Paranoid episodes are becoming more violent. Not towards others, towards himself. Convinced he's being hunted. Convinced he's changing. Session 4. He self-harmed last night, lacerating his arms and chest. Claimed he was trying to cut out the new skin. Session 5. I'm seeing a serious physical reaction to his self-harming. It's been not beyond me now. All I can give him are sedatives. He needs secure care. And we'll have to track him down and see what's going on with him next time. That's a generic one. So, thank you for joining me, and we'll be back next week. Have a good rest of your evenings.